Hello, I'm Mary Lou Long, co-CEO of Crossvault Capital Management. We recently interviewed noted custom home builder Crossvault-Kenigstein, owner of Image Homes. In part one of our two-part series, we talked to Roberto about access to the credit markets in the state of the San Antonio real estate market. Welcome to Crossvault Conversations.
Roberto, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
I've got the first question for you, Roberto. How does access to the credit markets feel to you right now? Are people able to secure financing for either building or buying homes, or are the credit markets still very tight?
In general, the credit market is tight for people who don't qualify. But if you have the right credentials, I feel that banks are willing to lend the money. More paperwork, more information that they ask you, but I don't see any problems with credit if you have the right credentials.
And that would apply to builders and to people who are trying to buy homes?
It will apply to builders to get a line of credit, and for clients, if they have a good income and they have the right credentials, they will not have any problem. The biggest problem right now is the ratio. Banks, before they could do a 80% loan based on the appraisal. Appraisals are down right now, so people will need to do bigger down payments.
Right.
But otherwise, they can get the money.
Well, that's very good to hear. From an economic and specifically builder's perspective, which is your perspective, how do you view San Antonio versus the rest of Texas? And if you have knowledge, maybe even take that perspective out a little bit to the rest of the United States.
Well, overall, San Antonio for sure did slow down in the last year and a half. I feel that we still do better than most of the cities or states in the country. Part of the problem of San Antonio is the news. Every time you hear the news, you see about unemployment, about foreclosures, and people here in San Antonio, then we do better, is being affected by what you see in the news.
So you think psychology may be dampening things rather than the reality of what's actually happening?
I would say that psychology is a big factor.
Interesting.
Yeah, news is a big factor.
Speaking of that, is there a noticeable difference between the trends in the high-end market where you are and maybe the lower to middle markets?
I would say that in the higher end, right now you have a lot of supply, more than before. I see the trend for less expensive houses in the future.
So you think there's going to be more interest in either building smaller homes or maybe using less expensive materials?
No, I would say that some, especially we cater to the higher end, I would say that people will still want to do a very nice home, high quality, but can be a little smaller.
Right. And really with the trend to trying to be more green, I know that's a very popular term right now, it seems as though smaller homes may be more energy efficient. So that may be a positive.
Right. The smaller the house is, the maintenance will be less, and that will be a big factor.
Right.